back arm. And both players still playing extremely timid. Neither player really want to make any mistakes in this first game, and that's totally understandable. Both players will be feeling out each other, Joel, and trying to keep the score as close as possible. Burrows somehow stopped that particular ball, thinking it was out, it appears to be. And she's actually challenging the serve quite early in this particular game. The first game of the females in this quarterfinals of the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. Both players vying for that special place in the semifinals on Thursday.
Yeah, definitely a spot where everybody wants to be. We're getting ready for that Nation News review on this call. But yeah, as you mentioned, a lot of hard work going into it, and just going back to a lot of conversations that we had over this tournament in terms of the fact that, hey, so much is on the line in this Barbados Road Tennis Open. A grand prize, a grand pot of $20,000, of which you only plan to give me $7,000, but no hard feelings on that one. But yeah, just waiting for that Nation News review to get loaded here.
Well, what I can tell you, Joel, a lot is on the line in terms of the money, but a lot is also on the line in terms of some of these balls. And thankfully, the Nation News review adds a level of satisfaction and clarity to some of these calls.
Yeah, I think definitely that we do need another angle on that one. This probably is the better angle.
Well, I'm not sure if that is the ball shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is being questioned. It was actually the serve, remember that? Where Burrows held up thinking that the ball was out, but somehow the chair official, Mr. Tito Ellis, called the ball in and awarded the point to Maudlin Blunt.
A bit of time being taken to get it right, and we understand because we saw how impactful it was last night in terms of getting the correct calls and how much it swung certain games in the favor of players. And we look back to when we were having the conversation in terms of when we were in the community, the various venues around the island where we were leading up towards these ones. As we're looking at it, it appears as if the ball is good, and we're seeing the call come up now on the screen. 2 challenges left for Angela Burrows, an unsuccessful one for her on that occasion.
And I'll tell you what, Joel, at that point of time, I'm not sure if I would have appealed that if it were playing, but you have to respect the decision of the respective player. I think it's a bit too early, but somehow she saw it as out, and she was following her intuition on that particular call.
I'm happy you brought up the intuition factor, because you made mention of the fact that there's nobody sitting in her coach's chair, and as such, she has to rely solely on what she's feeling, what she's thinking, and what she thinks she saw in the moment.
And that's a very good point, Joel. Today we had this discussion in the sauna, and I said to Mark Venom Griffith, I said to him, I'm really surprised that you guys do not rely heavily on the coach's advice as it relates to appeals. And we had that discussion last night. If I were playing and I had my coach in my corner, I would want to be taking a look at him. Should I appeal? Because I only have 3 appeals, so therefore we want to use them as wisely as possible. 10 now serving to 10, a very even score, or rather 11 serving to 10, with Blunt serving that ball very wide and deep into the back arm of Burrows. And this time now she goes center court, mixing it up a bit, trying not to be read by the opponent. Some very good exchanges, Joel. I actually counted each player hitting the ball 6 times, and that's a good rally between both of them, with Burrows now taking a walk, catching her breath after that rally, but the point being awarded to her. So 11 serving 11. And somehow Burrows playing a very high backcourt ball, Joel. It's quite tricky. When you play the ball backcourt, it creates a lot of difficulty for the opponent to actually strike the ball. But if an opponent can adjust and perhaps take that one step back, he or she would be in a position then to really hit the ball. But somehow it's working for Burrows. And the score now is 12 serving to 12. A very close first game here. In the first game of the females in this quarterfinals.
12 serving to 13.
So 12 now serving to 13. And that ball being struck outside. And Joel, it would be remiss of me if I did not say a good night to the diaspora in New York watching this particular game, and to many of our viewers worldwide streaming it live. And of course the National Sports Council and Mr. Charles Griffith, Minister of Sport, putting this all together to have a beautiful package. And by virtue of that, I'm privileged to be working with a young man, Joel Manning, in analyzing this particular game. 12 serving to 16, and somehow Blunt has pulled away from her, and this is a comfortable 4-point lead. A trail that I'm quite sure Burrows would not have wanted at this point in the game. Blunt striking that one to the outer side of the court and expressing her frustration with a loud shout through this Wilde Gymnasium here in Barbados. I can tell you, Joel, I'm looking at the countenance of Burrows' face. She's now taking a walk. She's actually sipping some water, and I can tell you that she's beginning to look fatigued. And if this is the first game and she's fatigued, I'm telling you that Blunt is now beginning to get comfortable on this court, and she's going to be in trouble in the second game unless she's able to adjust. (17 serving to 13), and Blunt somehow teasing and testing the back arm of Burrows, and somehow she decided to go with a cross-court shot, and she was unsuccessful. And I'm quite sure that her coach, Abby Clark, was not satisfied with that particular switch in play. Perhaps she should have stayed in the back arm of Burrows. And again, this is the third time so far that Blunt's forearm has let her down.
17 serving to 15.
So 17 serving to 15. That 4-point gap, Joel, has now gotten a bit closer. Burrows picking up a very interesting rhythm here, but putting the ball way too high. Good defensive tennis though by Burrows, but what she would want to do, Joel, is to keep this ball either one lower or two further back court, creating some difficulty for Blunt.
18 serving to 15.
18 serving to 15. A very beautiful passing shot. As a matter of fact, I would say that that is a good contender for the Valvoline play of the match.
I tend to agree with you there. And what it means is that she's now 2 points away from taking game number 1. Can she wrap it up and seal it?
So Blunt is seeded as number 4. She would have gone to the semifinals last year in the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2022, and now she's here about to win the first game and hopefully pull away with the second game and be the second person advancing to the semifinals after we witnessed last night, or rather she will be the third person advancing to the semifinals. After last night we had Sheldon Waldron advancing in the first game to the semifinals.
And then Neblet as well. I'm going to add one more because Kim Holder was today. So in fact, she'll be the final competitor for the semi-finals. And it's just so interesting because you said she's hopefully going to win this one, which tells me that I'm going to say this is your horse in the race at the moment. You're telling yourself that Burrows is too deep at the moment. 5 points shy of what will be juiced to really pull herself back into this one.
It's not impossible, but it's a bit challenging. That's the word I may want to use. Having the final serve puts her in a very interesting position, but playing against Maudlin Blunt with her experience, it may be very difficult to at least pull away this first game.
Well, we're about to see. This is the first game point for Blunt.
And mind you, Joel, Burrows has what it takes to definitely win this game and even the second game. However, if she continues to put the ball at that height, it will create a lot of difficulty for her in terms of the returns that she will be getting from Blunt. That ball called out. So the first game being awarded to Maudlin Blunt, 21-16 over Angela Burrows.
Well, Blunt has made a statement here in game number 1, and she now has one hand on the door. That door being the semi-final, the final semi-final spot could be hers if she's able to repeat that performance. But in her way, Angela Burrows, who is hoping that her white will shine for her tonight. 21-16 it was. Kelvin, your thoughts on game number 1 overall?
Overall, both players played pretty well. I can tell you that I believe they were both feeling out each other. But last night you asked me something very interesting in terms of the coaches and what they would add to the players, and you just see that Blunt went over to the experienced coach, Abby Clark, while Burrows had absolutely no one to talk to. And that can very well work as her demise here tonight.
Well, we're about to see whether or not she's able to pull things back for herself by talking to herself, Angela Burrows. And it's so interesting that I guess certainly from a very traditional and textbook style, definitely having that coach there is important, is essential, and probably is the roadmap for a lot of players. But hey, maybe Angela Burrows is telling herself that she is the outlier in the sense that she understands the game that she wants to play, and maybe having that additional person there might take her away from the thoughts that she has in that moment in terms of her focus, her concentration. Okay, yes, I have made mistakes in game number 1, but I understand the mistakes that I've made. This is how I'm going to change those and ultimately play the game that I want to play. So hey, we're going to see if that might be it here in game number 2.
Well, that's an interesting take, Joel. And there's a high possibility that that's her philosophy. And maybe that's what worked for her coming through the preliminaries. Love serving to 2. So I'm not sure if that particular strategy is working. But the very fact that she only lost 21-16 indicates that the first game was still relatively close. As a matter of fact, it was close up until 10, serving to 10, as you may remember, and that's when Maudlin Blunt started to pull away from her in terms of points. That looks like a shot of frustration there from Burrows. That's exactly what she would not want in this second game. She needs to remain as cool and calm as possible and just keep the ball on the court. 3-0 serving to 2. Maudlin Blunt in the yellow jersey, winning the first game 21-16. And now she has to serve 3, serving to 2.
3 serving to 2.
And you may realize, Joel, in terms of body mechanics, I know you like this in terms of cricket, Blunt is definitely moving more than Burrows. And sometimes when that happens, a player is actually stuck in a position and just reaching at the ball. And earlier we were talking about the importance of a coach. Now this is when a coach will come in and say, Angela, what are you doing? You're not moving your feet, you're reaching for the ball. And every time you reach for the ball, you're gonna pop it up high. You're not directly behind the ball. And that sometimes is the importance of a coach in situations like that.
Well, she's off to what is quite a sizable lead at the moment here in game number 2, Blunt. And add one more to it at 7, serving to her final service here. And well, she's spoiled it, and you understand why she's been so expressive there. The momentum was with her, and she's kind of just cut it out a little bit there on that final service. No service changing at 3, serving 7, getting those words from her coach. But I honestly would love at this moment to get into the mind of Angela Burrows, to hear her thoughts and hear what she's telling herself in terms of, okay, this is what I need to be doing, this is how I can pull myself back, to be a fly on the wall, to be a fly on the hair at this stage.
Well, 4 serving to 7. So she's just trailing by 3 points. And she's currently serving. So she should be able to maybe pull back about 2 or 3 and be a bit closer to Blunt, last year's semi-finalist and seeded number 4. Unfortunately, Burrows did not play in last year's competition, so she's unseeded. 4 now serving to 8. She's punching, and she's beginning to build that confidence.
It's been interesting to note here in game number 2 that both players have actually come out a bit more expressive at the start of this one. In game number 1, you mentioned they were a bit timid, as they were feeling each other out, but we're now seeing a lot more aggression and attacking strokes here in game number 2 very early.
Well, as I told you before, Joel, I usually see her play in the sauna, and she likes to play against the guys. She likes to punch the ball extremely hard, this Burrows. And that one just hitting the net and going on the outside. So it's now 10 serving to 5, but she's now beginning to catch her rhythm. The problem though for her, or the challenge, would be that she's 5 points behind, and Blunt now has the serve.
Yeah, all throughout, you would have to say game number 1, and in game number 2, she's had to play the catch-up role, almost having to work just a bit harder. The thing about it is that there's still time left in the encounter for her, and you just wonder just maybe if she has another gear here. You talked about the fatigue factor, and it's something that we'll definitely monitor as we go throughout this game number 2.
And a good score for her, Joel, would be 8 serving to 12. When she gets the next serve, it's now 11 though serving to 5. And that 8 serving to 12 would put her in a good position to perhaps get a bit closer to Blunt. Anything above that, Joel, will put her in a very difficult situation in terms of the point difference. And she's beginning to move a bit more, this Burrows. Perhaps she heard us from over here. But it's now 12 serving to 5. This is a very interesting 7-point lead for a player who has been playing a lot of tennis, who reached last year's semifinals, and I'm going to tell you now, it's going to be an uphill battle for Burrows.
I was about to say, to put it bluntly, she's looking like she's going to have a semi-final berth.
Definitely.
Oh, she's looking in cruise control here at the moment, Madeline Blunt.
And again, Joel, you can see Burrows over here at this point of time. I'm still suggesting if she had a coach, perhaps the coach should be telling her, look, Just slow down,
Serving to 5.
take your time, put the ball on the court. You at least need 3 points. And I'll tell you, Joe, that's the only way perhaps that she'll be able to stay in this game. So the closest she'll be able to get now is 7 serving to 13 because it's 13-5. So she at least needs these 2 points to be anywhere close to perhaps winning this game. Knowing Blunt is looking to extend this lead for sure, Joel. That ball looks away, yes, so it's 14 serving to 5. And that gap, remember, the serve was changed at 10 serving to 5, and now it's 14 serving to 5. So this gap has been extended, and now we're looking at a 9-point lead. Blunt is also catching her rhythm. So what we're understanding from that is that Blunt won all 5 of her serves. And now, as we can see, is 5 serving to 15. And if Burrows is not careful, she's going to take home something in the back of the car. A little animal. What we call in the Bajan parlance where road tennis is concerned, a sow or a pig. And again, you can see what is happening here. Blunt taking instructions from Abby Clark. Burrows wondering, what is my next move? And even if she's going with the philosophy that you suggested earlier, where she knows it best, at the end of the day, to have that extra suggestion from a coach would definitely help. Short ball for short ball. Blunt getting on the ground to get that point. And that's the type of player she is. She's a very determined player. I've sparred with her before, and she tries her best to get every point. She's walking a bit gingerly. We're hoping that she was not injured in that particular play.
Yeah, it was certainly a fantastic play for her contender for that Valvoline play of the match, but holding that right knee afterwards.
6-16.
6 serving to 16. This 10-point lead is certainly the lead that Blunt would want. And Burrows now committing that cardinal sin in road tennis by serving the ball poorly into the net and giving away that point to Blunt. 7 serving to 17. This 10-point lead, this tick for tack between these two players will certainly not help Burrows. Big trail for her. 10 points. And that's a beautiful shot, dissecting that angle there on the court. Burrows, Jewel, and pulling Burrows extremely wide to the right. Created a lot of difficulty for her. 18 now serving to 7. And as you can see, Jewel, even though looks as though Blunt there is injured, even though Blunt is in the lead by so many points, she's still struggling with those short balls not to give Burrows any more points in this game. And that's the type of fighter that she is. She's calling for some assistance, a timeout.
Yeah, she's damaging herself here in the process. A couple balls ago, it was the right knee. Now it is that right hand jamming into the ground. And it was just that die-hard approach for her. As you mentioned, even though she has the lead, she's still going for it all. She's not willing to give it up here.
And this is not good as we're looking here at the replay. Jewel, the thing about it though is that a coach now, if I were her coach, I would come and I would say to her, look, don't focus too much on sowing Burrows. If that's your aim, forget it. What you need to do is that you need to win this game, advance to the semifinals, and make sure that your body is intact. No more injuries. I just saw that you hurt your knee. Make sure that you end this game without any injuries. So there's no need right now for Blunt to be pushing it this hard in this particular game. That would be my view and my admonition to her as her coach.
Well, it appears to be that right thumb that we see the medic doing some work on. But if we get a wider shot on that, what is even better to see is that Angela Burrows is there alongside her, looking concerned, asking questions about what is happening to that hand. And funny enough, that is what you love to see in terms of sportsmanship in a game. It is across all sports, but what is not good to see is the expressions on the face right now of Madeline Blunt. And it seems as if she's probably really done a bit more damage that we can probably expect to herself at the moment. You just hope that it's not something that takes her out of this game, but that she's still able to compete and get herself over the line. And you certainly know that no player wants to go out like this. The pain has to be there, and pain is physical and pain is mental as well. And Angela Burrows probably might find a way, funny enough, to pull back from this if possible, because of that lead that you're talking about. It means that Blunt does not have to force anything. We're seeing that moment again where she just jammed down. She was reaching for it on the court, just forced that right thumb. And there you see the expression of pain there for her.
And I'll tell you, Joel, that
19 serving to 7.
she's grimacing in terms of her face, and we're hoping that she can not just continue this game, but if she's the winner, to continue the entire tournament. And Burrows, interestingly, looks just as perhaps frustrated and in pain as her opponent, perhaps sensing what that pain would be like if it were her.
No.
20 serving to 7 though, and Burrows somehow calling into question the call of the chair umpire, Tito Ellis.
A bit more running repairs on that right thumb for Blunt. But should the call stay, it means that she'll be 1 point away from the semi-finals, and she'll have a couple days in which she's able to get some repairs done.
Some loud cheers here from the audience as it relates to the call, or what they may think the call will be.
Here we have that Nation News review. Kelvin, whether or not that is out or out at the moment, I'm not sure.
Yes, I would acquiesce that that particular ball looks out, and you're absolutely correct. That's one you have on me tonight, Joel.
We call those the young eyes, Kelvin, the young eyes,
The
on
young
that Nation News review.
But more importantly, though, is the situation here with Madeline Blunt. A few points earlier, she hurt her finger going at a ball back court. And now she just has a few more points to go to complete this game. But it appears as though she's grimacing in pain. And we are hoping that everything will go well with her. Sitting next to her coach, Abby Clark, and taking the opportunity to use up this timeout to regain her strength and focus. 19 serving to 8.
I saw the coach's expressions there. I'm pretty sure it was simply 2 points. That is all you need. 2 points. 19-8.
And I'll tell you, Joel, if I were in Burrows' shoes, I would just be trying to put the ball on the court. I'm playing an injured player. I'm going to rally. I want to see what that finger has in it.
Well, the question is, does that finger have one more point? And if it does, she's on to the semifinals.
Well, that one out, so it's 20 now serving to 9. Burrows has the opportunity to escape the saw and perhaps add some dignity and pride to this particular game. Quite sure Blunt is trying to deny her that opportunity. But 10 now serving to 20. And Joel, you suggested earlier that Burrows may want to use that injury of Blunt to perhaps garner some points. But the gap is so wide. Oh, she's going for the short shot, but she failed in that attempt. So the winner of this game, the second female quarterfinals, would be Maudlin Blunt, winning 21-16 in the first game and 21-10 in this second game, and advancing to Thursday's semifinal, where she will be playing the #1 seed, Kim Holder.
Oh, yes, indeed. Our final women's semi-finalist is confirmed in Maudlin Blunt. And we're very soon going to get a chance to hear the words of Blunt in terms of that particular victory. But at some stage, I actually want to discuss with you, Kelvin, that final shot from Burrows, because it was very interesting to see the body language of her on that final shot, almost as if she gave up pretty much. Or it could have been a case of, hey, telling herself that Blunt was the better player on this day. She's gotten out of the south, and there's no real reason to carry things on. So we're definitely going to discuss that in a bit. But overall, what do you think about Blunt? Before we get to you, though, let's have that Valvoline play of the match. And here it is, both players reaching for everything. That never say die attitude of Blunt is why she's in the semi-final. It's also why she has the injuries
I was about to say.
you know, but hey, it doesn't matter because, hey, she has a couple days to recover. Those semi-finals go down on October 12th, and she has a spot in it. And a spot means she has a chance at that grand prize of $20,000. Well, it is time to hear from Blunt. She's standing alongside of Marsha Boyce.
Well, we now have the full slate of women's semi-finalists in the 2023 Barbados Road Tennis Open, with Maudlin Blunt moments ago joining Marveline Neblett, Charlene Warren and Kim Holder to advance to the semi-finals. Congratulations, Maudlin. Now, you were the #4 seed coming into this year's tournament, and you've made it into the last 4. Tell us about your performance here tonight. What was your assessment?
Well, for the last few weeks and so I keep practicing a lot, working on my my backhand and my forearm. So I put in a lot of work, and I feel confident to get you to the finals.
Now, you seemed a bit more comfortable in that second game, capitalizing on your serve a little bit more. What was the change of mindset? Was there a change in game plan at going from the end of game 1 into that second game?
Well, there is no change. I already have my plans to serve slow to her in she forearm and then mix it up. So that's my plan that I come with.
Now, late in that second game, around 19-7, you seem to injure your hand. Tell us what happened there.
Well, for that point that serve that she gave to me, tried to put on back the ball. I went down, and my hand went under the racket, so my finger bent under the racket, so I went down with all my strength on top it. So that is what happened in the second game. But trying to hold the racket now to serve to her, my thumb, I'm feeling a pain in the joint. So I thank God that I get through the second game.
Now, how do you think that would affect your preparations for the semifinals?
Well, I got to work on it to get it better. It won't affect me.
And then one final question for me. Your daughter, Kezia Blunt, was also in the quarterfinals. Your thoughts on her performance in this tournament?
Well, she needs to put in a lot of work, but she did well get into the quarterfinal. I know Sheldon is a stronger player than her, so all she had to do now, keep focused and put in a lot of work like I did.
Well, congratulations and all the best.
Thank you.
Joel, is back to you.
The words of Maudlin Blunt. She is our final semi-finalist in this one. It was interesting to hear in terms of saying that, hey, she put in the work and she deserves to be here. But yeah, that final play, talk us through it there, Calvin, just in terms of that response from Angela Burrows, just in terms of that body language, that shot there. Do you think it was a case of she just gave it up at the end?
Yes, and let me tell you why. It would have been an injection or a short shot. She never attempted it earlier in any of the, in either this game, in earlier points, or the game before. So why would you attempt it at 20 serving to 10? So to me, it was just one of those nonchalant, frustrated shots. Hey, let's get this over with. That's how it came over to me.
Well, all in all, we have now our 4 semi-finalists for the women, and once again, those semi-finals go down on October 12th, right here once again at Cigarfield Sobers Playing Complex. But overall, what are your thoughts now of the women's semi-finals coming up?
It will be interesting. Kim Holder and Maudlin Blunt both hail from the Elite Road Tennis Academy over at the old BCC car park. That should be interesting. I wonder what the feeling would be like on practice day for the rest of the week over there in Francisco Lewis camp. That should be interesting. The other semi-finals, I can tell you that Sheldon is probably bubbling over with confidence. In that particular set that we'll be getting on Thursday. And all in all, these ladies are ready. The 4 semi-finalists are all semi-finalists from before in various tournaments, some being finalists. Kim, for example, being seeded at number 1. But what is interesting to me, though, is that last year, I remember, unfortunately, Kim lost her mum. She spoke to John and I, and she was extremely depressed. And now, as mentioned in the interview, she's having a very challenging time with her fiance and coach. And that would be playing a lot on her mind. It's an unfortunate situation, but I'm quite sure that whoever is playing her, perhaps in the semi-finals and maybe in the finals, will want to kind of pull on the fact that she may not be at her strongest in reality. So that should be interesting.
It definitely should be interesting. We're at an intermission now, and we have 2 more exciting matches coming up to tell us who will be the final 2 males in those semi-finals. So for those here at the moment, they're definitely enjoying the entertainment on hand at the Wilde Gymnasium. For those at home, I know that you've been treated to some spectacular action overall. I'm not going to take you in to the matches that are going to come up just yet, but I definitely want to say thanks again to all of the sponsors who have come on board for this year. Thank you to the BTMI, thank you to Digicel Barbados, Nation News of Valvoline, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the National Sports Council, and the Barbados Road Tennis Association. Well, it is time to take a break here. But on the other side of it, we'll be back with more action here at the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023.
Start your day with the Nation News e-paper. Enjoy the accessibility and new upgrades of the Nation News e-paper daily, whether on our mobile app or Nation News website. For added convenience, use our new audio read feature, which reads the newspaper aloud, or look in the archives for any publications you may have missed. Get your news, your time, your way with the Nation News e-paper and enjoy our new upgrades.
Best 3. You like it? All right, Keela Lovely. She's got to serve. Love, serving love. That's so, that looking like war point. That looking like war point, man. So, the nation, man, you already done one. I think she's got him a little nervous. Sir, you have no... Just want to remind you, this only best of 3, so you have no more appeals or breaks left. That's it. All right, we proceed. Go ahead. Go ahead, Michaela. It's one in the nation, man. That's 1-all. Michaela had the first point, and you had the second point. That's 1-all. Correct. That. Hey. Yeah. Hey. So how much is that now? That's 2-all. All right. The people saying it's 2-all. Michaela, this is your chance to win. Time to even the score. Oh! Hey, congratulations to Michaela. She has defeated the nationwide. Yeah. Off to the boundary. Give it up for Michaela. Give it up for Michaela, please. Give it up for Michaela. I'm moving on, get a nice prize here for you now. It's a fancy. Of course, on behalf of the nation, enjoy your prize. All right. He's getting a little water. He's getting a little water. Everything. The one over in the nation bike, they're going up the school heap of goodies, man. Should we show them a little piece over in the nation bike? We can tell them something. We can tell them something on the bike, man. Tell them something. Going shirt, paraphernalia, going merchandise, pencil, pen. But we have a special prize. But most importantly, show them the special prize. Shh. Official brand new brand. Can't touch it. It belongs to the winner. Got the edges and everything. Thanks to the nation. Big 50. I am a road tennis fan. You got it. All right, ready again. Got Jason. Who's the next challenger? Jason right here. You ready? Jason is ready. Yes, sir. You're playing 3 points versus the nation, man. Oh, no man ready. The man wasting time. He was here from the start. Jason versus the nation, man. Gentlemen, you need a quick warm-up or you're ready? Man, get the ball. Disrespectful knockdown. Oh, no, hey. Oh, that is chop. Wait a minute. Gentlemen have started hot. That is 1 to the gentleman. Oh, dear. That is 2 to Jason. All three to Jason. That was way too fast. What's the terminology they normally use like that? Sound? That would have. I just heard somebody boxing so big. You could have pretended to hold off a little bit, or you could have given a little chance. The prize is not for the fastest. Well, all right. Congratulations, buddy. Better luck next time, Nation One. Better luck next time. Congratulations again. Jason, what you said? Congratulations again. Congratulations to our winners, Michaela and Jason, for placing the nation, man. Jack Russell, DJ, give us some music. Don't forget, go support Intermission. Of course, the concession stands, the bar, and a matter of minutes, we've got 15 minutes left now, and counting. And we're back in the sector for some action.
Bad mind can't stress me. Them don't impress me. Them run off them out and
so we got another big giveaway. Couple of our sponsors. Automotive Art, and of course, blazing tonight with Valvoline. Valvoline. That can tell us who is the distributor of Valvoline. Gets a chance to win. We got our ladies as well with all the prizes. Just put your hands up. But this one we may need you to come to us. One over here, come on quick. Let me ask the producer. The man won't shout from there. Then pelt the, then toss, we should say. Valvoline by. Check with him quick. Come on, come on. Updated information, we got one more. Getting ready for the action. 2 quick questions. 2 quick prizes, of course, select forward by Valvoline, Digicel, BBC, the BTMI, of course, our proud sponsors tonight, representing, as well as saluting the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the National Sports Council, the BRTA, the Barbados Road Tennis Association, and also the Barbados Road Tennis Open. All right, so we want you to come and join us down here, because this is part of the live feed, the live stream. So, of course, they can see us from here on the stream. So we want to present you down here, if you don't mind. Be so kind. You can make your way through that open door by the W and come on down. Real quick. Come on, take 5 seconds. You run down, you come to the center, you win, you're gone from there. All right? So we got some good questions. We give you that chance. Compliments of Valvoline. All you need to tell us, who is the distributor of Valvoline? First person to make their way down. We also give another question. After how many kilometers should you change your oil? All right, come. I bet he come and win everything, because we got 2 or more prizes, but they're being a little shy. I also want to remind you as well, we got another raffle. Big prizes, big things to go on. Compliments the BRTA. It's a fundraising raffle. Only $5 per ticket. And you get a chance to win a prize. A dinner for 2 at the Cray Resort. Dinner for 2 at Lone Star on the West Coast. You get vouchers, compliments, Emerald City Supermarket. And also, a big prize of a staycation for 2 at Infinity on the Beach. So we're not playing, only $5 for the BRTA fundraising raffle. Yes, sir. All right, so you got that answer for us. All right, the distributor. What is the name of that distributor for Valvoline?
Automotive Art.
Automotive Art. He's the winner, all right. Don't be shy. Winning easy, simple like that. Price cap and cap. Easy, so your next question. After how many kilometers should you change your oil? Sir, this is not remote answer. Like the serviceman? A serviceman? All right, congratulations. Woo! Mancy's a serviceman. Friends supported from the stands. All right, good man. We can land some more giveaways. DJ Jack Russell.
Every girl favorite position is that. No tell me so you can do that. Every girl favorite position is that. Shut your mouth, don't give me no talk. Hand on your knees and sink in your back and balance body. Balance body for me, balance body. Bring your back and put it back on me, balance body. Balance body for me, balance body. Bring your back and put it back on me. Every girl, balance body, balance, balance, balance body, balance.
on the center court. Chair umpire, chairperson is playing. When I announce the presence of our minister, the Honorable Charles Griffith, Minister of Youth Sports and Community Empowerment this evening as well. Our officials today are going to stand today. You get to know, you get to meet these players. Two young men. And of course, 7 in Prior Hall, Christchurch, attended Milton Lynch Primary, the law school at the UWI Cape campus. Second year computer science student. Saluting Mom Audrey, Dad Terry. Their favorite colors red. Favorite food, rice and milkshake.
Good night, everyone, and welcome back to the Sir F. Garfield Sobers Sports Complex here in Wildy, St. Michael. This is the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023 quarterfinal night number 2. Just a couple minutes ago, we had 2 women's matches which decided our final 2 semi-finalists, and now it's time for the men. 2 exciting matchups coming down the line. John Vic Chandler alongside me. My name is Joel Manning, an absolute pleasure to be here once again with you guys. John, I know that you know these guys very well, and I know that I guess you have all the stats on them, all the information on them. Match number 1 in terms of the men's tonight, Shaquem Nurse taking on Mosai Williams. Tell us all about them. What are so special about these young men? What can we look forward to in this semi-final matchup? Or rather, in this quarter-final matchup, sorry.
Well, let me say welcome back, and let me start by saying that Shaquem Nurse is the number 2 seeded player in this Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. He's only 18 years old, and he plays quite a bit of his tennis in the sauna. Shaquem is a very talented junior. He's very decorated, and over the years he's been showing and getting stronger and better each time he comes to the arena in terms of top tennis. This evening he's up against a young Mosai Williams, and Mosai Williams started playing tennis around the age of 9, and he really have blossomed over the years. And this evening he's in the quarterfinals of the Barbados Road Tennis Open, the first time he's ever reached this kind of level, and he's earned it. We saw Mosai Williams playing some excellent tennis in the round of 32, the round of 16, and here he is in the quarterfinals. And something similar as well with regards to Shaquem Nurse. We saw Shaquem Nurse in the round of 16. He defeated Julian Collymore 21-13, 21-11. And in the round of 16, he defeated Morrison Johnson 21-12, 21-19. Mosai Williams, on the other hand, he came up against Ezekiel Ward, and that was the match to get him into the round of, to get him here this evening at the quarterfinals. And he defeated Ezekiel Ward 21-23, 21-15, 24-22. Mosai Williams is known for his attack. He has the ability to really attack the ball aggressively, and he's coming up against a player who also has a similar kind of approach, because we have a Shaquem Nurse who can be very explosive at times. He's very defensive. Shaquem Nurse is a complete player, and this evening we're looking to see if we're going to see that type of player against Williams.
Well, serving love, the ball in the hand of Mosai Williams.
Well, Joe, what I can also say that you're going to be, last night we had a kind of defensive game where we saw the Venom coming up against Imar. This evening we're going to see attacking tennis for the most part with these 2 players. Good start here by Williams to Love. Nurse.
Just breaking that bit of momentum that he was building up at the start there with that error on his service, Mosai Williams.
Good serve again to the backhand. And Joe, we are looking at 2 future tennis players, the future of tennis. You're talking juniors here. these who are playing some excellent road tennis. I'm quite sure we're going to see many, many duels in the future between these two. Two will now serve to 3. Good play on the occasion by Nurse, taking the weight off and pulling his opponent into net and paying dividends on that occasion. Well done to Nurse.
Straight, 7 to 4.
Oh, what a shot. What a shot there by Nurse. That one was there for the take, and Joel, he held back. Nothing. He gave it his all. And again, this is the Shaquem Nurse that many men looking to see in 2023, and he's off to already signaling his intentions.
Oh, certainly growing in confidence, and that confidence is probably why we saw that particular shot, or attempt at the shot on that occasion. However, could only find that net, and service change now at 5-all, but certainly very exciting tennis to start off game number 1 here between these two competitors.
Yes, we're seeing at this point Williams seems to be working with a game plan of going to Nurse's form, and they have an even score at 5-all. Very good rally on the occasion. You see both players looking a bit on the tense side, I guess getting into the game as much as they possibly can. Early moments. Mosai Williams on the attack. Good short play, good power shots to the backhand and the forehand.
It appears that we have our first appeal of this game number 1. It is Shaquem Nurse challenging that call. The first Nation News review of this game number 1 between Nurse and Williams. A chance though for both players to take on some fluids and take on some information from those coaches, and coaching was a topic of discussion across tonight as we get that Nation News review. Looks to be on the line, that ball.
Yes, Joel, coaching is a topic that we really can't get away from. This evening we are seeing Shaquem Nurse being coached by Dwayne Lynch.
The ball is in. We want to appeal Shaquem, the ball, 5-1.
Shaquem Nurse wins that appeal, which means that he retains his review. Both players getting 3 appeals in each game.
And Joe, while we're talking about coaches, we have Mosai Williams being coached by Sean Brown. So Sean Brown.
We're back to the action at 6 serving 7.
Even score at 7-all. Again, Nurse looking to be explosive on that occasion. Oh, excellent tennis here by Nurse. The touch, the push and pull technique. I'm quite sure that a guy like Anthony Baku Simmons will be happy to see that particular play on that occasion. Is saying that Nurse is really thinking through each stroke play. We're seeing a showing here of Nurse looking a bit more of the Nurse that we saw in 2022, with potential to even become more explosive. Oh, what a moment, what a play. Good tactical players here, Joel, by Nurse. He's moving the ball well. Opportunity he really should have done much better with on that occasion, but the form letting him down.
10-8.
10 now serving to 8. Nurse keeping a slim lead. Oh.
10-9.
Nurse seemingly feeling some pressure here, Joel. We're seeing that form not quite flowing as it needs to at this stage.
Ball serve away. 10-all.
We saw Mosaic spoiling 6 balls already from the back arm. And we have an even score at 10 apiece. So we have Mosaic making some errors on the back arm, and then we have Nurse making errors on the forearm here, Joel. Oh, that's the better player. That's well done by Nurse on that occasion.
Certainly a contender for that Valvoline play of the match. That one. But he spoils it now to follow things up.
Good serve on that occasion. Good to see that Williams is keeping relevant. He's staying close in his game. He has a 1-point lead. See if he can build on that lead. That is the Williams that we saw in the round of 32 and in the round of 16. That inside-out form, and well done on that occasion by Williams. Again, good, clever serve there by Williams. Back to the form. He's getting results here, Joel. Very good serve, and he has a 3-point lead in game number 1.
Yeah, biggest lead for him so far of the night.
11-14.
Again, good tactical move by Nurse. The injection giving him some reward. Now Nurse tapping into his serves as well. 13-14.
Starting to see those emotions, starting to see those expressions from Nurse.
This is the Nurse we saw in 2022. That type of tennis. He posed on that shot. I haven't seen Shaquem Nurse pose on a shot for this entire season so far. This is starting to look like the Shaquem Nurse we saw in 2022.
14-16.
Well done to Nurse on that occasion, winning all 5 of his serves, and he's now 2 points ahead of Williams.
Yeah, certainly growing in confidence is Nurse as this game continues. It appears as if he's starting to sense that things are really clicking for him here, especially coming out of his service.
Oh. 14-17.
Again, Nurse keeping his nose in front. Good exchange on that occasion. Still a very close game indeed.
15-17.
The backhand continues to give Williams some problems here this evening. Better short play on that occasion by Williams. Moving the ball left to the right. Good power through the form of his opponent in Nurse. 16 now serving to 18.
Just wide on that occasion. And it was interesting that, funny enough, was the moment to really draw himself pretty much level. Would have taken him in at service change at 17-18. Instead, it is now 19-16 to Nurse, and he's 2 points away from taking this game number 1.
Yes, Williams looking to paint an already painted line. 19-16.
19-17.
We saw Williams on numerous occasions in this tournament coming from behind. Let's see if he can do it here again this evening. 19 now serving to 17.
Taking his time is Nurse gathering his thoughts.
That is clever. That is smart. Well served on that occasion by Nurse. Creating opportunity to take the first game of this 2-best-of-3 matchup.
First game point for Nurse once again, taking his time.
Oh, well done here this evening by Shaquem Nurse, using tactics. He used a number of things to make sure that he took this game number 1 at 21-17. Well played here by Shaquem Nurse to take the first at 21-17. Joel, we saw a mixture of stroke plays. We had the drop shots, we had the changing serves, and we also had some explosive shots in game number 1 by Nurse. We are seeing a Nurse who looks very determined this evening and looks as if he has big plans to push this as a 2 straight opposed to a 3rd game.
It's certainly looking that way. On the flip side of things, though, if you are Mosai Williams, if you're in that camp, what are you looking to do differently in game number 2 to be able to force a game number 3?
But Mosai is known for his attack. He went for 1 or 2 shots. He really 1 or 2 that he missed balls that he would normally get in. But his backhand, he needs to really buckle down in game number 2 and stay relevant by getting those backhands back in play if he's going to push this into game number 3.
Well, let's see what adjustments he's able to make here. Ball now in the hand of Shaquem Nurse, who took the first game.
Love, serving to love.
Oh, what a start.
Love, 1.
A focused face of Shaquem Nurse. He knows the task ahead of him.
First point going to Williams.
Love, 2.
Good choice on that occasion by Williams, going for the forearm put away opposed to a backhand.
A couple errors to start off game number 2 from Nurse. A couple balls going long from him. Offers a 3-point lead now for Mosai Williams.
Williams, a student of law school, past student of law school. Oh, what a way to dismiss a ball. Very good shot on that occasion by Nurse. Nonetheless, we have Williams having a mini win serve on that occasion, 3 serving to 2.
looking to just go with a bit too much on that occasion was Nurse.
For serving to 2, you're correct, Joel. He really didn't need that power. It's just a matter of putting the ball and placing the ball as the point for the taking.
5-2.
So some nervous moments again seem to be creeping into the form of Nurse. There we go.
6-2.
4 consecutive shots there by Nurse. Forearms into the net.
6-3.
So Williams continues. Williams continues to work his game as much as he possibly can through the forearm of Nurse. On this occasion, it seemed to have been given him some reward. He's leading now, but it's important that he continues to look for those openings whenever they are possible. We saw in the first game, even though he was going to the forearm of Nurse, Nurse did a lot of variation, drop shots, way tall, power shots. So he needs to be very careful as he attempts to go through Nurse's forearm. There we have it again. Nurse showing his skill, good technique, good ball control by Nurse.
6-all.
Good center court serve on that occasion by Nurse. His opponent not being able to return on that occasion, even score.
6-all. Six, 7.
Very good serve.
7-all.
Good pace. Wide to the forearm. Even score. Again, copy and paste serve. Well done on that occasion by Nurse. Quite sure he'd be happy having the lead at this point.
It was interesting to watch as both of them have identified the weaknesses in their opponent. And you just wonder who might be able to make the better adjustment, allowing them to take this game number 2.
Williams under some degree of pressure here at this point. He knows the importance of that point, and he's going forced to push the ball and attempt to paint an already painted line. So let's see how that one is adjudged.
Well, it was adjudged out, and Williams said that he is going to use a challenge, which means that coming up very soon, we're going to have that Nation News review. And that ball looks quite good to my eye. I'm not the official or the umpire, but I'm just saying what I believe I'm seeing here on the screen at the moment. You could also hear the spectators who are weighing in, and as well as I can see it on the big screen here at the gymnasium as well. And the official decision comes saying that the ball is in. A good use of the review there by Williams.
Good play on that occasion by Nurse center court, not giving his opponent that angle. Good anticipation by Williams on that occasion. Ball going to the back arm, and he's switched to the forearm.
A very commanding shot by Shaquem Nurse.
That's the Shaquem Nurse we've seen over the years. Very dismissive.
Looking for it again, but just looking at the height of the ball, probably was better served, as you mentioned, just looking to put it back on that occasion.
He's up against an attacker in Williams, so he's probably looking to get a bit more pace on the shots, not to allow Williams to bring the attack to him. That is all a touch of class, quality, well played by Nurse. Perfectly struck.
It needed a lot of wrist work in that one as well, opening up the body. Not really giving an indication of where he was going to place that one, but placed it to perfection on that occasion. Did Shaquem Nurse. Service change now at 11, serving 9 for him.
So Nurse has a 2-point lead. I'm quite sure he'll want to maintain this lead. On the other hand, Williams will want to stay as close as he can and stay within striking distance. Oh, what a shot again by Nurse. Good power. No response on that occasion by Williams. Oh, well done. Nurse is working the push and pull technique this evening on Williams. He's not giving him quite a bit backcourt. And looking for opportunities, and that is a shot off the top shelf, Joel. That is a quality tennis, the type of tennis we know this young talent has. And this evening, a backhand like that is a certain reminder of what he's capable of.
14-10.
Nurse still with a 4-point lead. This is a good variation, good mix. What Nurse is doing really well this evening is that his opponent is unable to really predict what he's really about to do. This is a good tactic here being used by Nurse. He's at times attacking, he's taking off the weight, he's angling the balls. He's really playing some really smart tennis here this evening and is working to his advantage. He has a good, healthy now 5-point lead.
Certainly is working to his advantage. How many points though can he take away from Mosaic Williams' service? He takes the first point, taking him now to 16. He is sensing something that we call the semi-finals. The door is probably just slightly ajar for him at the moment. Can he push it all the way open?
I think he's looking, I've seen the expression on his face is saying he's pushing.
11-16.
11 now serving 16. Still a 5-point lead. They're still in the driver's seat here this evening.
Called out and instantly Mosaic Williams is challenging it. You would probably say that he had a fantastic view of it as well, given his body position. The question though is, will it be judged in on that Nation News review? If not, that lead extends for Nurse. And it looks as if his eyes were pretty good on it, because that looks on to me. The official word is ball in. A fantastic review there, a fantastic Nation News review from Mosaic Williams, calling it right on that occasion.
Caught that one right on the line. Oh, again.
11.
Well placed on that occasion by Nurse. No power, but placement.
And another appeal here.
Well, it's being appealed.
From Mosaic Williams. On first glance, it looked good. But funny enough, he was the closest to that ball. The previous Nation News review for him was a successful one. Will this one turn out to be that as well? He still has all 3 of his reviews. Should this one, though, be unsuccessful, he will have 2.
And it will certainly create a bit more pressure on him. It will certainly give that extra point that takes Nurse a lot closer to that magic number of 21 to secure advancement here from quarterfinals to semifinals.
Oh, well, it looks like that is going to be an unsuccessful review for him, as that ball was correctly called in by the linesman. 11-17 now is where we stand in game number 2 between Nurse and Williams. Just 4 points will take him to the semifinals on October 12th.
Oh, again, good defensive tennis here by Nurse. Williams are going for the inside out, but the back arm of that young Nurse is up to the task.
Service change 18-12.
18-12 with 3 points away from Shaquem Nurse, booking his place to the semifinals of the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. Again, showing what we have not seen all season long. The Shaquem Nurse pose, confidence seems to be back. 19-13 with Nurse just 2 points away. I'm quite sure he would want to close this now.
Well, with that call of out, it just needs 1 more point, and we've got our 3rd men's semi-finalist in the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. Game, set, and match point for him. That will do it. That is Shaquem Nurse heading to the semi-finals on October 12th.
The type of performance that we were looking for from Shaquem some time now. And this evening, he reminded us of the quality player he is. He reminded us that he is still a contender. He's the number 2 seed.
And right about now, it is time for that Valvoline play of the match. Champion playing in the background, and the champion indeed is Shaquem Nurse. That is it right there, that backhand shot that got everybody excited right here in the Wilde Gymnasium. That Valvoline play of the match. Shaquem Nurse certainly coming out here with a lot of confidence. It was interesting to see that from the time the match was done, he picked up his bag and he was running off towards the dressing room area. But hey, we've got him now back here to have a quick chat with Marsha Boyce.
Now we have our 3rd men's semi-finalist for this year's Barbados Road Tennis Open, with Shaquem Nurse defeating Mozai Williams. Shaquem, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, you were the number 2 seed. You were the runner-up last year. Did this particular quarterfinal go according to plan?
Yes, please. Cause I was hoping to go to the quarterfinals and then get a semi, so it go according as planned to me.
Now, spending some time looking back on the first game, you found yourself down 11-14 at one stage, but then you were able to put together a string of 6 unanswered points. What prompted that turnaround that led to you eventually winning that game?
My coach and the motivation.
So any special words your coach said to you at that point in time?
Please, at first I was rushing the first game because at first I was a little bit nervous, but not that nervous because I get here already, so I know what how to do. So I guess I had to fight and get by points.
Now, you are just 18 years old, Mozai 19 years old. You know, this particular matchup, the battle of the young guns. Do you have a preference playing a younger player, older player, because you're very attacking in your style?
Younger player, older player, I just come to win at the day.
Now, there are some who might have a criticism saying, you know, at times you are a little bit too attacking. What would you say to them?
Yes, because I'm an attacking player, but if I go, like if I somebody get in front of me by a couple of points, like I will shut down, I guess, on the ball, cause I know how to rally and I know how to attack, so I could do both.
Now, finally, then, looking ahead to the semi-final, what will your preparation entail?
My preparation will be doing studies on the players, training as hard to get to the finals.
Al, thank you very much. Congratulations and all the best.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Back to you guys.
Well, there you have it. The words of Shaquem Nurse, quite confident in that performance. 21-17 and 21-13 is how things went for him. Straight sets, as they would say. He said that I come to win on the day, and you know that certainly heading into the semi-finals, he will more than likely, in fact, he will be guaranteed to be playing as somebody that is older than him. He said that doesn't matter in terms of age. But what was also interesting is that when Marsha asked him with regards to his attacking style, he says he has the ability also to compose himself and put the ball back on. How important will that be for him heading into the semi-finals?
Well, that's going to be very important because he'll be coming up against two experienced attackers. Should it be Lil Man Daniel or Baracus? We're talking about two players who have the ability to attack and good power hitting. So having a skill set like that, good defensive tennis, that he has shown us time and time again, yes, he will need to make sure that that defensive mode is certainly switched on.
Yeah, certainly. As we look towards his semi-final spot now, what are you looking for him to maybe a touch improve on with a chance of getting into the final?
Well, his performance tonight showed some levels of improvements, because for the tournament thus far, we saw a Shaquem who was not using his form as he really ought to. Tonight, he came and he had a better display using his form. He attacked on some occasions, it paid dividends. He used the drop shot form, which was really good. So it was good to see this evening how he used the form. I don't think it's quite ready as yet. He still has some more work to put in because he's coming up against quality players, and to get past semis and into the finals, you have to be really clicking. But tonight is an improved performance by Shaquem Nurse.
You talked about quality players, and I know that the next game will be called by Bruce Willis alongside me, but I want to get your take as we head into that final game with regards to Antonio Daniel taking on Darius Gassing. How do you possibly see that one shaping up?
Well, that I think is a very good lineup. What I think will happen tonight is that we are now seeing two top players being pushed by a fellow top player. We had Antonio Daniel, who had played all season, and playing players beneath him to some degree. Tonight, he's now up against a fellow air player in Baracus. And then we have Baracus, who on the other flip side, he haven't really met someone of that caliber as well. So we should, I believe, expect to see a higher quality game by both players, because now they are going to be coming up against a different level of tennis, a different quality of tennis, and they will need to show that they have the ability to overcome one or the other.
Are you picking a favorite for this one, or are you staying neutral here?
I must say, at this point, I have to stay neutral, because we have two very good attackers and we have two very good tennis players, and we have Antoine Loman Daniel, the most feared explosive tennis player in the world, and on his night, anything is possible.
Certainly anything is possible.
But you can't rule the junior. You cannot rule out Baracus as well, because he's an A-class player, and he said in his interviews that he's coming to go all the way in 2023. So we'll be looking to see if that is indeed the case for young Gaskin.
Well, that action will be coming up very shortly on the court in front of us. We talked about what is possible and what is not possible. What is not possible is this tournament without our sponsors. We certainly want to say thank you to the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., Digicel Barbados, Nation News, Valvoline, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the National Sports Council, and the Barbados Road Tennis Association, sponsors for this year's Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. I told you a bit earlier about the nation and them celebrating 50. But I can also tell you about something that is coming up, and that is the Food and Rum Festival, October 19th to 22nd, 2023. The Barbados Food and Rum Festival is a mecca for foodies all over the world, where Barbados' finest culinary talent is celebrated. Held by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., each year the festival transforms the month of October into a culinary escapade. The Barbados Food and Rum Festival has become one of the most sought-after festivals in the world, featuring local and international chefs, renowned rum producers, and culinary personalities. It's a festival that I've definitely had the pleasure of attending in 2022, and I do think that some of the events, in fact, are sold out already, and that tells you about the demand for a festival like this. So if you have your ticket already for some of those events, I know you'll have a blast. And if you don't just yet, well, hey, head out and grab those tickets because you want to be a part of the Barbados Food and Rum Festival going down from October 19th to 22nd. Then down in December, there is Run Barbados, which attracts the largest number of marathon runners to the Caribbean from many international countries. The prestigious Run Barbados Marathon has evolved into one of Barbados' premier sporting activities on the island, known for its festive atmosphere and spirit of camaraderie. You know, I've got Kelvin alongside of me once again. And Kelvin, before we get back to the road tennis, I know that when it comes to sports involving balls, you play them football, road tennis, I know table tennis, somewhere in between there. Must have volleyball. I'm not sure, have you played hockey before?
No.
No hockey, okay, good. But we're talking about the Run Barbados Marathon. In terms of running, where do you rank yourself? Could you find yourself doing a half marathon or a marathon?
I did a 5K probably about maybe 2 years ago. So, but I'm not a big fan of running those distances now.
You went a little low there. I asked you about a half marathon and a marathon. You hit me with a 5K there, Kevin. I think you're a couple Ks short of what is happening there down in December. In fact, no, I think there might be a race for you, Kelvin. There might be a 5K there. I know there's a 10K. There was a 10K last year. So there might be something for you. And you know what, hey, they might have a walking race, Kelvin. There might be a walking race there. And hey, that is where we can participate. And if the grand prize is $20,000, I will give you 7, and I will keep you 13 for myself.
7 is a bit low.
We'll
work it out.
Fair enough. Let's get back now to some tennis. An exciting matchup is on the way. Now, I want to start with Antonio Lil Man Daniel. He's not really a little man anymore, to be very honest. He's a big man in the sport of road tennis. I want to kind of understand who is he in the sport of road tennis to a lot of people out there.
He is the 4 E's. Exciting, entertaining, enthralling, exhilarating.
Oh, you came with that prepared.
Prepared. I was looking in the dictionary for Anton Lil Man Daniel, and those are the 4 E's that I saw to describe him. But on a serious note, Joel, the crowd here tonight, I'm telling you, yes, the other games were exciting. The other games were of interest, but I can tell you the buzz around the outside of the Wilde Gymnasium tonight is that of Anton Lil Man Daniel. As a matter of fact, you can hear the roars of the crowd in the background for this particular player. He has over 30 years of experience, Joel. He will be firing up in here tonight.
No problem, Kevin, but I wanted to cut you for just a second there because I know you have a lot of information to give us. We want to head across now to Kurt Brown, and he's entertaining the crowd at the moment.
Fundraising raffle. Big prices. I mean, dinner for 2 at Lone Star Restaurant, dinner for 2 at the Crane Resort, staycation for 2 at Infinity on the beach. And right now we draw. We've got 2 $100 vouchers. Compliments Emerald City Supermarket. And Christopher Sandiford. Number ending in 639. So if you're here, Christopher, President, hold that. Give you a little time to get here, or we go again. And our next winner, Tristan. Or you would say Tristan. Number ending in 993. 2 vouchers, compliments, Carlton and Emerald City. And listen, saying that, we are ready for the next match, ready for more action. So get in position. The chair umpire is ready. Stream is ready. Players are ready. And we're going to reset everything. And ready again.
That was Kurt Brown. A couple of giveaways being done here as well in the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. Action is coming up very soon on the court for that final matchup. And you were telling me about Antonio Little Man Daniel. I know you had to get cut off, but what more do you want to say about him as a competitor?
Anton is a very interesting person in general. A taxi driver by profession. What I can tell you though is that Anton took 10 years break from road tennis. Mark Venom Griffith came on the scene and said, Anton days are finished. He's an old man. That ignited Lil Man Daniel to come back into road tennis. And as a matter of fact, here's some interesting facts. He came back and played in 12 tournaments, Joel. And out of those 12 tournaments, he made it to the finals in 11. Now this will be his 13th tournament. Can he make it to the finals? We don't know. But tonight in the quarterfinals, he's playing against Darius Baracus Gaskin. And this young man, he's fleet-footed. He has a lot of shots. And up next, this is going to be a very, very, very exciting game.
Yeah, certainly. You use a lot of ease there, exciting, including and entertaining as well. And in the round of 16, there was certainly entertainment on show from Antonio Lil Man Daniel. He has several highlight clips, you would have to say. One including one where he actually fell down onto the ground, he stayed on one knee and played the ball back on. Overall, though, here in this matchup, to get himself to the semi-final, what are you looking for from Antonio Daniel?
I'm looking for someone who now has to adjust to this new surface. What I can tell you is that, just a little peep into his practice session, Anton now has to adjust to a court that is a bit slower than the traditional faster courts made of asphalt. That can be tricky for him in terms of his attacking style, but knowing Anton, he can adapt. He's full of versatility, and I would be expecting him to unleash a furore of shots here tonight in front of this crowd.
Well, I can tell you, with every single display of flair and pageantry from Antonio Daniel, this crowd will certainly erupt. But on the other side of the coin, Darius Gaskin, what can he do to overhaul this challenge here tonight from the little man?
Well, Darius and Anton played together before. Anton won 2 of the games. Darius won 1 of them, and I can tell you though that this young man can play. He defeated Venom already, and he is considered one of the better B-class players going into A-class. And I'll tell you this, it has been said that his backarm brings the ball a bit high, but if he can control it and keep it at least a bit lower tonight, he will be giving Anton some trouble. He cannot be counted out of this particular match.
Well, on the top end of your screen, it is Darius Gaskin, and on the lower half of the screen, it is Antonio Lil Man Daniel. Things are getting ready to get underway here in the final men's matchup of the night. We've already confirmed 3 of our semi-finalists. And the question now to be answered is who will be the 4th member of the men's troupe to find themselves playing right here at this iconic venue, this Garfield Soberts Sports Complex here in Wilde St. Michael. Those semi-finals get underway on October 12th, and then we find ourselves back here on October 15th for those grand finals. Once again, these players are playing for $20,000. So a lot at stake, a lot on the line. Who will take it all?
Well, we're looking at 14 years of experience in Darius Baracus Gaskin. Ironically, he got that name Baracus from Mortal Kombat against over 30 years of experience in Anton Lil Man Daniel. If we're going with experience, Anton would have already won, but we're not going with experience. We're going with what is being played tonight here in this quarterfinal matchup. So let's see.
Ball is in the hand of Antonio Daniel. Love serving love.
And look at how Anton Lil Man Daniel has started this particular game. He has drawn first blood, and I'm telling you, nobody's taking a bathroom break here tonight, Joel. Everyone wants to see every single shot of this master. And again, 2 serving to love. I'm sorry if I may have to stand up for this game, Joel. I got a few calls from New York today. The guys over there said to me, Scotty, I expect lots of shots. But it's 2-7-2, and this is the interesting thing about road tennis. Yes, those shots were really nice. They were beautiful. They were exciting. But the score is 2-7-2. So you need to at least have 21 good shots in order to get home in road tennis.
Yeah, certainly that phrase, the race is not for the swift, but who can endure? And the question is, who can endure? 42 points on the line, 42 points takes you all the way to the semi-finals for those who are wondering why I said 42. 21 plus 21, that's quick math there. That's 2 games here, a best of 3 is what it is.
And what is interesting is that Anton is over speaking to Dayton Roach, and I'll tell you this, 40 years ago, Dayton Roach led Anton to the schoolboys and the senior title in the same competition. And 40 years later, we are seeing him still coaching Anton. And that is what I was telling you earlier about the importance of a coach. And I went and I spoke to them earlier, and I even took a picture of them. These guys are staying with each other because of the importance of having that second person to lead you and to guide you in important matches like these. What is also interesting is that Darius Baracus Gaskin is being coached by Seth Best. Remember, he would have beaten Seth Best earlier in 2 straight games to advance to the quarterfinals. But they're both from the Belfield camp, and therefore, as friends, you know, hey, you beat me, but you know what? I know your playing style. I'll come and coach you. And that's the nature of road tennis in a small community in Barbados.
Well, we're currently waiting on a Nation News review at the moment. That is currently hold up and playing. There it is.
A very interesting angle that we're seeing it at. From all indications, it looks into me. But I would have to leave that particular call to the officials responsible for it. There's a slight shadow over the ball. And someone was suggesting to me that the frames of the camera may make it a bit blurry. So it's the Nation News review indicating that the ball was in, and therefore is 2-1. The 3-1, and we can hear the crowds here, even though it's just a 2-point lead, keeping some noise for Anton Little Man Daniel. And here's the strategy, as you can see, indicated in the 5 serves from Anton Joel. Anton is serving to the backarm of Darius. It is a known fact in the tennis circles that he can bring back his backarm a bit high. And obviously, Anton is looking to get some points from setting up after the serve. And that ball looks out. And this is interesting. This is the second appeal that Antonio has called for so early in the game. Some will want to know if this is an indication of perhaps a bit of nerves or maybe his confidence in that particular shot of his. But it was so fast, no wonder that we have employed the technology under the Nation News review to see exactly what happened in that particular shot.
It's very difficult to just get that call right each and every single time. Of course, we do trust the eyes and service of our linesmen and lines over here. With that technology, just for that extra surety, that extra security, as once again, certainly a lot is on the line. So another challenge here for Antonio Daniel, a Nation News review, challenging whether or not that ball was in fact out on that back line. And things are looking pretty close there, and I'm just wondering, because once again it comes down to a matter of frames, and you might tell yourself that the ball is actually bounced when in fact it has traveled just a bit further, because here I'm questioning whether or not in fact just bounces just outside based on that trajectory of that shadow and everything involved. And there we have that official call as well. The ball is called out.
It looked out to me, and how important are these calls quickly in cricket? Perhaps you can answer that a bit You being the cricket expert.
I wouldn't say the expert, but I guess I watch it a bit more than road tennis. But just as important in terms of technology there in cricket as well, because once again, the umpires just have that one chance to see the ball.
I'll tell you this, Joel, back to this beautiful game here. Both players, ironically, wearing the same yellow shirt. It was yellow and white for the entire night. But as I said to someone today, Darius Baracus Gaskin also has the ability and skill to be a really good attacker in this particular game. And if Daniel is not careful in terms of fitness, in terms of shot for shots, it could be a very interesting matchup here tonight.
Well, he's hit a couple balls long on this occasion, and what it means is that a lead of 2 points goes to Gaskin at the moment.
And here's the thing, Joel, again going into the back arm there of Gaskin. It's okay to have all of these fancy shots and the crowd really enjoying it. But then when you look at the numerical difference, it must make sense. Oh, beautiful injection. And a passing shot with the left leg just being raised maybe about a foot or so off the ground. Now that, in my opinion, is a contender for the Valvoline shot of the match. But it's still early. Again.
Oh, no. That one to the bag as well.
I'll tell you this, Joel. You're talking about the Valvoline play of the match. This particular set will be the most difficult for us to call in terms of the shots. Again, though, Daniel employing a very interesting strategy by going deep and wide into the back arm of Gaskin, and then that power shot to the forearm. Look at how he's utilizing the court, and another drop shot. Oh man. Oh man, I need to compose myself. This is some beautiful tennis. Yes, the score is close. We're now 7 serving to 8, but the beautiful short and long shots of Antonio Lilman Daniel is certainly giving everyone their worth for their entrance fee.
Certainly, indeed. A different flavor to what we had in that final match last night, but just as entertaining and just as exciting. Appears to be a bit of a challenge here coming from Darius Gaskin, challenging the ball on the sideline. It appears to be having a conversation now with the umpire. The umpire probably just looking to confirm exactly what he's looking to challenge. In fact, no, he withdraws that challenge, it appears.
And I think it's a smart move. And again, we were discussing this earlier. He sought the advice of Seth Best, his coach, and Seth gave him a nod in the negative. Look at that, shot for shot. Now, interestingly, Gaskin attacked the forearm of Daniel with an open space. Daniel just went maybe about 2 or so feet to the right and give him another shot cross court. And you can expect that with the likes of Anton Lilman Daniel.
Called out.
Serving to 10.
Serving 10 now.
Point now has been called into question by Gaskin, so therefore we have another Nation News review.
You just wonder at this stage if that challenge is more so a case of out of desperation and hoping against hope, or whether or not he's absolutely certain that, hey, this one was in fact his point.
It's hard to call. When you consider a 7-point lead, it may very well be desperation, or perhaps he saw it properly and he figured, you know what, let me get this point. I would rather 10 serving to 15 than 9 serving to 16.
Well, there's another close one here, and in fact the ball is judged in.
Baracus won the challenge.
So a successful challenge. Hey, it wasn't desperation, it was calculation there from Gaskin. Challenge won by him.
And in this particular case, the point has to be played again. It was a successful challenge.
Just to explain to the viewers why they're replaying the point, it was because the ball was called out by the official, which means that the play in fact came to an end.
As a result of the official and not the player. Again,
Service
another
change.
drop shot, which is a
9-16.
slight fall of the ball behind the 8-inch net.
9 serving 16.
And that's about the second successful one for the night. And again, Joel, this man, Anton Little Man Daniel, has such
10
a variety
serving
of
to
shots.
16.
Some to the right, some to the left, some to the center, and some short.
Dead ball. 10-17.
10 now serving to 17.
10 serving to 17.
Gaskin trailing by
11 serving to 17.
6 points now. And
11-18.
looks very disappointed as a result of that unforced error in terms of his serve.
11 serving 18.
Especially when playing a player of this caliber, you can't afford certain mistakes like that.
Gaskin, perhaps he's getting a bit more warm in terms of his
18
attacking style,
serve
seeing that this
12.
is only the first game. And I'm sure a good coach would advise him.
This is challenging.
And Gaskin is appealing
Game
again.
line.
So now we go over to the Nation News review for the 5th time in this particular game.
Yeah, just interesting to watch both players again. I guess I'm the body language guy for this game, and it is a case whereby Antonio Little Man Daniel sat down, as we see that Nation News review ball quite clearly is in on that occasion.
And I'll tell you what, this particular break gives Daniel the opportunity to catch his breath.
And that's actually what I was going to come to afterwards, because looking at Darius Gaskin walk away, he was, as he would say, berating himself, trying to understand what is going wrong at the moment for him, or maybe how can he stop Antonio Daniel. And
20-12. First game point.
21-12.
Anton Daniel. 20 serving to 12.
20 serving 12 at the moment.
20 serving 12.
You've given him his point already, but yeah, just 1 point away now from taking game number 1. And that will be it. A bit of a dance from Antonio Little Man Daniel as he takes game 1 here to the delight of all gathered at the Wildy Gymnasium.
Well, I called it. So it's 21-12 in this first game between Darius Baracus Gaskin and Antonio Little Man Daniel.
Well, we certainly know what is on show from Antonio Daniel. I want to head to the camp now of Darius Gaskin. What can he do to almost stop the onslaught at the moment?
Well, as I mentioned before, when John and I were interviewing some of the folks in the sauna today, they were all telling us that Antonio Little Man Daniel will be getting some points from the backarm of Gaskin, for the simple reason that his playing style brings those serves quite high. And what Gaskin would need to do now with a power serve, Joel, is perhaps maybe step back a foot or two in terms of receiving the serve, so that he can keep that ball lower to take away some of the striking attack from Antonio Little Man Daniel.
We're going to see what adjustments are being made. A couple of adjustments being made, though, in terms of the court and its dryness. Of course, the players out there dripping quite a bit. Certainly indoors, yes, and a bit cooler than what we've had coming through the tournament. A lot of the community centres around the island, but still hard work for them. Several thoughts have to be flowing through the head of Darius Gaskin at the moment. An uphill task ahead of him. But does he have the climbing shoes required for this task? Game number 2 is about to get underway. Will it be 2 straight sets for Daniel, or will we go to 3 because of Darius Gaskin?
Serving to love.
You would have realized too, Joel, that what Daniel was doing in the first game is serving through the back arm of Gaskin, but not necessarily using that particular side, his back arm, to penetrate. So it was a very interesting build-up to his shots. And look at that, very unorthodox and interesting as Daniel gets very low to the net to strike that particular ball. Now that's interesting that Gaskin is using the same strategy, serving to the back arm of Daniel, hoping to get back the ball at a height that he prefers in order to strike it.
1-4.
1-0 serving to 4.
1 serving to 4.
Again, you realize it, Joel, how high Gaskin is bringing back that ball. His returns are definitely too high. And he's creating that sweet spot for Daniel to strike the ball.
Well, he's still enjoying a 3-point lead at the moment.
2 serving to 5. Three serving to 5.
3-0 serving to 5 with Daniel mixing it up a bit, serving that one to the forearm of Gaskin. Well, that's a beautiful cross-court shot. I can see your face, Joel. That's a beautiful shot. Perhaps you will want to see him maybe on a cricket pitch years ago to see if he can reel a bat with such accuracy and precision.
Well, like a choir director, just using his hands to really, I guess you could call that one perfectly orchestrated on that particular occasion. But I was more so interested in hearing the words going around the venue when shots like that were played, and certainly all in all is entertainment for all who have showed up here at the Cigarfield Sobers complex. And we do tell you that yeah, you might be enjoying the stream at the moment, but the action is right here. The hot seat is right here. Not hot because we're actually quite cool, and thankfully so because of the AC. And a Nation News review on that one. And from this angle, it looks quite good into what you would call the corner pocket if this were a pool. But yeah, that point will more than likely be confirmed quite soon for Antonio Daniel.
The score here remain 3 serving to 5.
4-5.
Well, 4-0 serving to 5 after that particular challenge.
2 challenges left now for Darius Gaskin.
Service change.
At that point being awarded to Gaskin after a very interesting cross-court rally from both players.
Serving to 4.
Gaskin is pulling away quite nicely here with a 3-point lead. As I mentioned before, Gaskin can also hit.
To 5.
So therefore, Daniel will need to keep that ball as low as possible, but it's now 7 serving to 5.
And ball 8 serving to 5.
Just wide on that occasion, meaning that 8 is serving 6.
8 serving to 6.
You would certainly enjoy this final service point going towards him.
Gaskin would need to perhaps win this point and create that 3-point lead in order to remain in winning position, and he does it. So it's now 6 serving to 9 after Antonio Loman Daniel won the first game 21-12. He too committing that cardinal sin by serving that ball out after it tipped the edge of the 8-inch net.
6 serving to 10.
6 serving to 10. Very interesting lead. 6 serving to 11, and Antonio Loman Daniel is beginning to spoil. Realize now that he changed up his
6-12.
serving strategy with a short serve, pulling Gaskin into the court, but then the remaining part of the shot was spoiled, so it's now 6 serving to 12. Interesting gap.
7
serving to 12. And somehow the momentum in this second game, Joel, has shifted a bit in favor of Gaskin. This beautiful indigenous sport of road tennis. It's 12 years shy of a century. Beautiful.
Service change.
Originated in 1935.
Gaskin has got on its dancing shoes
13
at
serving to
the
7.
moment.
That's a beautiful shot. And a nice lead here for Gaskin in the second game.
47.
Is interesting. As I told the guys today in the sauna in Bank Hall, we do not want a third game. Or rather, Antoine would not want a third game, sorry. We would love a third game. Let me stand corrected. But in terms of fitness, against this young 26-year-old, quite sure this man at 53 would want to end this game with a 2 straight. Now that's a beautiful shot. Certainly a contender for the Valvoline play of the match.
He extends that lead now to 7 points. Does Gaskin, the largest lead that we've had across the games so far. And the trajectory tells you that this could be Gaskin's. But hey, Antonio Little Man Daniel, he can get himself back up from here as well.
Well, that's for sure,
Long line,
Joel.
Marcus is challenging.
But as I mentioned at the beginning of this game, Gaskin also have what it takes to put that pressure on Daniel. So this is not a complete walkover, as perhaps some of the pundits were saying. I'm telling you, I've seen both of them over the years, and irrespective of who you come here to back tonight, this can very well end up being an equally balanced game, this second game, and then forcing Antonio Loman Daniel to pull out all of his fitness in a third game.
Well, will Antonio Little Man Daniel have to go into the reserve tank tonight, or can he pull it off into Darius Gaskin, though he's got a lot to say about it as he stands out front at the moment. A Nation News review time is coming up as both players get a bit of a towel off, a bit more instruction. Once again, so much on the line here in the Barbados Road Tennis Open. We've certainly loved how the tournament has developed over the years. And there we have that Nation News review. It looks like that ball just is landing on the line on this occasion. And there is the official decision. The ball is in. 15 serving to 10. A 5-point cushion for Gaskin.
Well, 15,
15 in fact, 9.
After that Nation review. Now it's 9 serving to 16. A very interesting switch here in terms of momentum. And the most exciting road tennis player in the world does not look too exciting here in this second game. He trails quite far behind against the young Darius Baracus Gaskin. Interestingly, he got his name in 2005 from Mortal Kombat. And now this Mortal Kombat player looks pretty good in this second game here. 11 serving to 16 now. Daniel doing exactly what he did in the first game, which is to serve to the back arm of Gaskin, get back the ball at a certain height, and then decide what he's going to do in his attack after that. Now that's a beautiful cross-court shot, cutting the court in half in terms of the precision, keeping the ball as far away as possible from Gaskin.
They're collecting 4 points off his service in that one. Antonio Daniel was looking to see what Gaskin would have responded with in terms of body language. He gave a nod. He said, yeah, that was a good shot there.
18 serving to 13. This 5-point cushion here is a very healthy one in the second game, or rather the 6-point cushion. And
Anton challenging.
Loman Daniel says,
back
I would
line.
like to see it on TV. I want a Nation News review.
Well, even before we get that review, my eyes were telling me that it looked a bit long on that occasion, and it appeared to have been a good call by the lineswoman there on that occasion. But hey, let me not get ahead of myself here. That's why we have the technology, and that's why we have the Nation News review. But hey, if it is a point for Darius Gaskin, it would mean that he is 2 points shy of leveling things up and taking it into an all-decider, that third and final game, which brings up those questions that you mentioned at the start in terms of the fitness factor. Everything in Game 3 goes in the favor of Darius Gaskin straight off the bat, just in terms of the fact that, one, youth is on his side, fitness is on his side, but hey, experience is on his side of Antonio Little Man Daniel, and he himself has found himself in quite a few Game 3s as well. So the question is, should it go to Game 3? Can he draw on all that experience to defeat the youth of Darius Gaskin? Once again, just waiting on that Nation News review. It was Antonio Little Man Daniel who was questioning whether or not that ball was incorrectly called out on the back line.
Earlier, Joel, you mentioned the prize money associated with this, but remember, whoever advances to the semifinals has already found themselves with a $5,000 cash prize just by being in the semifinals, even if they should come fourth in the actual tournament.
Oh, this is going to be an interesting one for the umpire, because I'm looking at it and I'm telling myself, I think a couple more frames are needed to make the decision on this particular occasion, because I can see it there in the court, but I can't necessarily judge where it is bounced. I know this will definitely be a difficult call now for the third umpire with this one. As we mentioned, a couple frames would have definitely helped in terms of making that all important decision. In fact, now called in. Once again, I'm happy that I'm not the one having to make these types of calls.
And that's an interesting observation. And could you imagine trying to make that call without employing the services of the new technology under the auspices of the National Sports Council? It would have been extremely difficult, and therefore at this quarterfinal stage, they found it necessary to use the technology.
Well, Darius Gaskin is saying that doesn't look like the particular ball that is being questioned. And you can understand why. Because looking at the replay, as I mentioned, it looks as if we would have needed just 1 or 2 more frames in between what we were seeing there to really come up with a conclusive decision. But once again, I'm just very happy that I am not the one that has to make these calls. It's definitely a tough task for our third umpire here tonight, and especially given that these moments matter, these 1 point moments in terms of the swing of momentum, in terms of a player's thoughts and all of that matters. So you definitely want to make sure you get that decision right, so you can understand why Darius Gaskin is saying, I'm looking at that replay as well on the screen, and I'm uncertain if that is the actual ball that is being contested at the moment. But hey, a longer break for the players, and you mentioned that these types of breaks work in the favor of Antonio Daniel.
Well, in most cases, he would need, as you were seeing earlier, he was beginning to get a bit fatigued. So these breaks would assist him in catching back his breath, etc. But they can also work against him if he loses his momentum as well. So keep that in mind. But this Nation News review is adding some tension here as both players look to the screen for that final decision. And I can tell you, Joel, that the buzz around the road tennis world this morning was the use of technology and some specific calls last night. And as I said to some of my friends, it was extremely difficult in some of those shots. But tonight, somehow the frames of the camera seem to be showing a bit more clarity. Some suspense.
Yeah, still nothing conclusive coming out of that right leg of Gaskin blocking the initial frame. And once again, after it, the ball is called in, and the point will be replayed.
Win the challenge. 18 serving 13.
A successful challenge for Antonio Little Man Daniel.
18 serving to 13.
18 serving 13.
That's a beautiful
19
shot
serving to 13.
to the forearm of Daniel, and Gaskin is pretty much saying, you did it to me, now I can do it to you. 19 serving,
19-14.
14. Gaskin is saying that he saw the ball.
Marcus is challenging, B back line.
We have the Nation News review again.
This is going to be another important moment in this game, standing at 2 points away from taking game number 2, Darius Gaskin.
And you know, Joel, some critics today were saying, oh, well, the review system has made the game a bit miserable. But let's be real about it. You're playing for $20,000. You want to exhaust all of your possible rights in making sure that your point is awarded to you. So it's fair and it's reasonable.
But beyond that, I think it also goes towards the mental aspect of the players, because we saw across the tournament coming into, let's say, the round of 16 and the rounds before that, when a player offered a challenge, there was no real way of confirming whether or not you had to trust what the linesman was saying based on what they originally
19
said.
serving 14.
I guess it just takes a bit of the controversy out of the game, so to speak.
Definitely. We have two attacking players hitting the ball at a speed
19
that
serving
cannot
15.
really be comprehended by the natural eye. So therefore, we have to employ the technology here.
Still hanging on is Antonio Daniel, 19 serving 15.
Some good defense here though by Gaskin, and
Service
that
change.
powerful drive
16
through
serving
the
19.
forearm now of Gaskin from Daniel, bringing that gap a bit closer. It's now 16 serving to 19.
Yeah, what's even more important, with ball in hand, 16 serving 19, we know he's going to the backhand here.
It appears to me, Joel, that next year you're going to be taking away my analyst's job.
Point.
Very good call.
Darius
Very good
Gaskin
call.
has 16 serving to 20.
Didn't work in his favor on that occasion. 1 point away from taking game number 2 now, Darius Gaskin.
Seventeen
serving to 20. Darius has to wait a bit longer before he rejoices.
17-20.
On the flip side, can Daniel juice things up here?
Dead ball.
Called out.
18.
And now
20.
18-20. Somebody
20.
look for the fruit trees.
In the road tennis talk, they will say he's by the door, but he hasn't gotten in his houses yet. That ball looked quite tricky.
Arizona is challenging the
and
ball.
Daniel is doing
B
the
back
right thing
line.
within his right to appeal
B
that
back
ball.
line.
And now we have the Nation News review.
Probably the most important review we're going to have of the night, because it was called out. And with that, should it stay, it will be game 2 goes to Darius Gaskin. There it is. And it actually looks to be in to my eye.
It looks into me too.
It looks in.
As a matter of fact, it actually looks in by a couple of inches.
Indeed.
Yes.
So that would have been an interesting one.
And somehow the fat lady that
18,
usually sings, as the
20.
expression goes, has to be quiet for a bit longer.
19 serving to
we are
20.
1 point away.
To 20. And this is the thing.
19
A
serving to
ball
20.
in the serving hand of Daniel can be a very dangerous thing.
Well, it is
20
true.
on.
Somebody bring
Game
the
juice.
blender. We
20
have
will serve
juice
for
here
20.
tonight. 20 serving 20. Are we in for something special in terms of a comeback? We saw a comeback last night by Venom. Will we have the comeback here by Daniel, and the comeback that takes him to the semi-finals? Or can Gaskin dig deeper, find something, and square things up?
Well, you analyze it
juice.
correctly,
20
Joel.
serving to 20.
Daniel with the last serve is a dangerous thing for Gaskin. Good. Good for
21,
Gaskin
20
to win that first
20 will
point on
serve
his
to
serve.
21. 20 serving to 21.
Advantage Gaskin. Called out.
Oh, short away at 22-20.
22-20 is how things end here. Game number 2 being taken by Darius Gaskin, but in fact, no. Please hold. Please wait.
Long line.
There's an
Antonis
appeal.
challenging the call.
There's a challenge
Long
by
line.
Antonio Daniel.
Well, it's a Nation News review. And if that point is in fact rewarded to Gaskin, it means that Antonio Lilman Daniel won the first game 21-12, and Darius Baracus Gaskin winning the second game 20-22. But we can't rejoice as yet. We can't call it as yet, as we await the decision from the Nation News review. Special good evening to the folks all the way in New York, watching this via the live stream, and those in Canada, of course, other parts of the world, but especially a good night to the friends here at the Cigar Fuel Sobers Gymnasium in Wilde, Barbados. A decent crowd tonight at the quarterfinals, and I'm quite sure October the 12th, Thursday, we're gonna have an even bigger crowd as these individuals vie for a place in the finals, where the winner will be given a grand prize of $20,000. And hypothetically, Joel was saying that if he had to win this money, he would give his new friend and co-commentator, me, a mention.
$0. But what is on the line here is a question of whether this ball is in or out. Every neck in the gymnasium at the moment is strained upwards, looking at the screen, wondering if this ball will be called in or if it will be called out. If it is called in, we are back to juice. If it is called out, Darius Gaskin ties things up here in game number 2. It is going to be a very interesting call, because once again, it is a matter of frames. A matter of frames, and funny enough, a matter of destiny as well.
Ball out.
Ball out. Darius Gaskin, he has tied things up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our way to a game number 3.
Well, in their previous encounter, Daniel won 2-1, and now it's 1-1, with Daniel winning the first game 21-12, and Gaskin winning that second game 22-20. And the winner of this game will advance to the semi-finals on Thursday, October the 12th, to face no other than Shaquem Nurse, who defeated Mosai Williams 2-0 earlier.
Well, last night here at this very venue, we saw Mark Griffith come back after losing game number 1. He took game number 2 and then game number 3. Darius Gaskin lost game number 1. Had a tense moment in game number 2. And don't forget, yesterday as well, that second game went to juice as well between Griffith and Edwards. So you can almost say it's picking up a pattern. And if that pattern holds true, well, it means we could be seeing Gaskin in the final. However, Antonio Daniel, ball in hand. What does he have to say about this? The third and deciding game here.
And it would be interesting to see Daniel's strategy, and he started the same way that he started the first game, serving to the back arm of Gaskin, but somehow Gaskin is able to combat these serves and to figure it out. But that's a beautiful passing shot, a contender for the Valvoline, a play of the match, and that particular one hitting the Valvoline sign again.
Seems to like that sign, does Daniel?
Serving to Love.
Two serving to Love, and you can see the disdain in Daniel's face, perhaps after losing that second game so close. Well, that's a beautiful shot at a very interesting angle, and this is what some of the individuals were saying today as we had our chats in the sauna. Antonia Lilman Daniel can find some very interesting angles to cut the ball through. Again,
service change.
The master has taken out his sword and has started to cause some trouble here in this final game of the night, and the final game between these two individuals after each one
Love serving to 5.
took away a victory thus far. Gaskin now with the serve. Love serving to 5.
Dead ball. 1 serving to 5. One serving to 6.
One now serving to 6. This is the final game, and I can tell you, Joel, that this 5-point lead is exactly what Daniel will want. Gaskin really has to utilize his serves to at least keep
serving to 6.
This point system as close as possible and not let it get away from him. That's a short ball. That's a short ball to the delight of the crowd, and he dances. Now, what is interesting, Joel, it's not just a short ball or what we call an injection, but it's the angle to which the injection took. Oh man, that was beautiful.
We saw one nurse before. I dare say we're seeing another.
And I'm telling you, that to me is definitely the contender for the Valvoline shot of the match. 7 now serving to 3. Eight serving to 3, and this 5-point lead somehow is putting Gaskin under some pressure here tonight. Oh, now that's a body shift. Now that's a body shift, sending Gaskin far to the left and then opening up the court and hitting that one through his forearm. But somehow Gaskin would prefer a Nation News review on that particular shot, and that is exactly what we're going to wait on, the decision from that Nation News review.
Well, we question whether or not the fitness component of things might come into play here in game number 3. He's rushed up the blocks here, Antonio Lilman Daniel, funny enough, in similar fashion to what he did in game number 1. That Nation News review, and it looks as if that ball, in fact, it looks quite good. Some ways in as well. Interesting that Darius Gaskin opted to use review there. It could have been a case of, hey, I need to take a break here. I need to kind of like cut the momentum of things. An unsuccessful challenge for Darius Gaskin. 9 serving 3 at the moment. A healthy 6-point lead for Antonio Daniel. But like I mentioned, he's really rushed out to the blocks. He's been ignited almost here in this game number 3.
Well, it's an interesting strategy for him to catch himself
to 4
after Daniel took such an interesting lead. But I can tell you that the body shift It took him out of the vision of the ball, so he certainly could not see where he
9-5.
went. But that's a beautiful shot, pulling Antoine
9-7,
Loman
5.
Daniel to the right, and then just opening up that space to guide the ball down through his back arm.
Service change.
Well, pulling back
6
those
serving to
points now.
9.
Service change at 6 serving 9. He looks a man determined.
6
Darius
serving
Gaskin.
to 9.
That's a beautiful,
7
powerful
serving to
shirt.
9.
Serve, sorry, into the back arm of Daniel.
Seven 10, please turn. 7-10.
7 serving to 10 now, and the players will switch for the simple reason that each player has won a game each, and therefore the third and deciding game, the players will switch
7-10, players support.
so as to not disadvantage a player at either end of the court. So it's now 7 serving to 10.
7 serving to 10.
Gaskin, ball in hand, soon to have ball in hand, serving at Antonio Loman Daniel.
7 serving to 10. 8 serving to 10.
8 serving to 10, and as anticipated, this last game would be a close one. And
8
Gaskin
serving to
now
10.
making sure that Daniel does not pull away too far from him. That
8
unforced
11.
error from Gaskin has now given Daniel a 3-point lead. It's something that he wouldn't want
8 serving 11.
the third and deciding game. That's a beautiful
Service change.
set of
11
exchanges
serving to
there
9.
between both players. And somehow Gaskin had a very high ball but played it tentatively, perhaps to make sure that he actually secured a point.
11
He
serving
did.
to 9.
So 11 serving to 9. And if you've just joined us, Daniel winning the
12
first game,
serving to
21-12. Gaskin winning the second game, 22-20. And now we're into the third and final game with Daniel serving 12
serving to
to
9.
9. Oh, that's a beautiful
13
shot.
serving to 9.
It made my friend and presenter Joel rock back in his chair after Daniel came to the edge of the net and just placed that one with pace, power, and precision past Gaskin.
13 serving to 9.
And Joel, it really shows the
13-10.
pedigree of a player such as Daniel. Even though we were questioning his actual fitness in terms of this third
13
game,
serving to
he
10.
has the ability, though, to pull so many shots to keep him into this game.
14
And
serving
with
to
this
10.
4-point lead, he's showing that 14 serving to 10.
14-10. Service change.
Struck
11.
to the
We
8-inch
serve to
enemy
14.
at this point of time. It's now 11 serving to 14. Let's see if Gaskin can make do with his serves. He has 5, and it's 11 serving to 14. He would at least want the score to change, Joel, at 16 serving to 14. What would even be better for him is 15 serving to 15.
Well, that certainly would be the ideal for Darius Gaskin. Will it happen though? Only time will tell.
11 serving to 14.
12 now serving to 14. Gaskin trailing by 2 points, but putting on the attack. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Down the line, painting that line with a beautiful piercing shot. And someone shouted from the crowd, not a man.
12 serving to 15.
12 now serving to 15. And
13
that is
serving to
interesting.
15.
Gaskin repeated the same shot. Serve to the back arm of Daniel
13,
and
15.
pierce the forearm. Again, he's trying for it. That one
13
into the net.
serving to 16.
Well, it's tick-for-tack tennis here, pretty much. Trading point for point at the moment.
Serving
But an
to 16.
all-important final service here for Gaskin. Can he take it now to 14-16?
We're looking at 14 years of
Service
experience
change.
versus
16-14.
30 years of experience in the road tennis world. And now, as I said, to put the game maybe in a favorable position for Gaskin, he would want a 16-14 serve change at least to be a contender in this game, and that is what it is right now. Antonio Loman Daniel, 16, serving to Darius Baracus Gaskin at 14. And that ball
16-15
is wide, so it's now 16 serving to 15. Joel, this game is getting quite close.
It's pretty much patterning
16
what we
serving to
saw
15.
last night. That one went down to the wire as well in game number 3. And instantly,
Antonio's challenge on the
hand
wall.
in the air to challenge for
Beat back
Antonio
line.
Daniel on the back line.
Well, as you mentioned before, that is interesting because the chair umpire, Tito Ellis, is the one that called the ball out. And Antonio Loman Daniel challenged that particular call. So now we will see what the Nation News Review decision on that particular call will be.
And it appears as it will be a successful challenge for Antonio Daniel.
It looks that way. Ball is in.
Baracus lost the challenge. Ball is... I don't miss a challenge, sorry. The ball was good. We got to play the
Ball
point
was
again,
good.
16-15.
Point must be played again. A successful
Sorry
challenge
about that, Baracus.
for Antonio
16-15.
Daniel. 16 serving 15.
And as you mentioned before, Joel, a lot of controversy surrounded such points in the round of 32 and 64 without the camera
17-15.
technology. Now it's becoming more clear and the decisions are more credible with the
17 serving to
technology.
15.
And Gaskin definitely bringing back this ball too high. And that's a sweet spot there for Daniel. Oh, this man is so versatile. Antonio Loman Daniel, you can see individuals standing literally in their chairs and have to be warned by security for shots like that here at the Wilde Gymnasium. That is a beautiful set of exchanges between these two players. 18 serving to 15. Very tricky serve there from Daniel to the forearm of Gaskin, and he read it late, and therefore that point was awarded to Daniel. So it's now 19 serving to 15. And at this point of time, his coach, Seth Bess, looks at
19 serving to
Gaskin.
15.
Not a word to say.
2 points needed for him.
Service
That
change,
turn and
15-20.
flick
Game
by
set,
the
match point to
forearm
Anton
of Daniel put
15
Gaskin
serving to
in
20.
tremendous problems for the entire night.
The crowd is beginning to chant here. They sense something special. 20, 15, in fact 15 serving 20 is what it will be.
And Daniel walks over to his coach, Dayton Roach, a man that coached him 40 years ago to 2 titles in one night.
Net ball, net ball. 15 serving to 20.
15 now serving to 20. And we would have to wait a bit longer
16 serving to 20.
the end result of this game. 16 serving to 20. Well, 17 serving to 20, Joel.
And funny enough, last night's game took this exact same path as well. What will happen? Does Gaskin have it within him? The little man lives to fight another day. Antonio Daniel is on the way to the semi-finals.
And there you have it, Joel. As I mentioned before, he's exciting, he's enthralling. He is that type of player that will bring alive the Wildy Gymnasium, and that is exactly what you experience here tonight. And he sits, he catches his breath, he talks to his longtime coach of 40 years, Dayton Roach, and the expression on Roach's face suggests, yes, well done, son, well done.
Well, in the end, it was another enthralling encounter which ends with the hands of Antonio Daniel raised above his head. He has made it to territory that he's been in for quite some time on many occasions. He is in to the semi-finals of the Barbados Road Tennis Open 2023. You can't see it on your screen right now, but his hands are raised to all of the supporters here in the gymnasium. They have come to see a show, and a show indeed is what he has provided. But not to be outdone and outclassed was Darius Gaskin. What a performance from him as well.
Certainly, Joel, some individuals were saying it's an easy 2 straight, but that's not what we experienced. And now we'll be preparing for an interview shortly, but that was a beautiful game. Gaskin definitely put up a decent fight at quarterfinal stage, showing that he has the pedigree to at least match Antonio Lilman Daniel to a certain degree. A good showing by him.
Certainly. Well, we now have our 4 men's semi-finalists as well, the final one being confirmed as Antonio Lilman Daniel, taking the first one 21-12 and then losing the second one at 22-20, but finding something deep and finding something within to take them to 21-17. It's no time though to see the Valvoline play of the match, and here it is, Antonio Daniel dancing all around the scene for the Valvoline play of the match. Did you hear my rhyming there, Kelvin? Dancing around the scene for the Valvoline. Yes, certainly was an entertaining encounter. It must have been a difficult task, really, for our producers to pull out one play from Antonio Daniel tonight. He certainly entertained all here on the show. But hey, right about now, it is time to hear from the man himself. Let's head over now to Marsha Boyce.
Thanks, Joel. Well, all 4 places in the men's semi-final lineup for the Barbados Road Tennis Open have been claimed, with Antonio Lilman Daniel winning that final spot, taking this quarterfinal match 2-1 against Darius Gaskin. Antonio, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, you looked like you were really enjoying yourself out there on the court. And among the commentary, the guys were saying it would have been a bit difficult to pick the Valvoline play of the match. But I'm going to put this one to you. What do you think was your best moment on court tonight?
It's hard to say. I'm full of shots. That's why the people come to see me. Sports is entertainment now. So I just go after the ball. I'm 54 years old now. I can't rally 7 and 8 balls with them youngsters. So I got to look for the winner.
Definitely so. Now, I just want to take you back to the second game in particular. Now, at one stage, you were down about 7 points. You rallied back, juiced the game, but in the end, Darius held on to take that one 22-20. What would you have done differently?
The serving was bad. When I caught him at juice game, I should have served to his form. A lot of players made errors when the pressure is on from their forehand. All of their backarms are good. I serve the wrong players.
Now, in the deciding third game, you jumped out to a 5-love lead. Was that the game plan, to put him under pressure early?
I had the serve, so I told myself, I want 5 of my points. So I'm going to power serve him. He can't put it on low, the power service problems. And I'm going to whip the next ball. So I look for 5 points.
Now, you're very experienced. You've been to at least 11 finals, in national competitions. But in your corner tonight, you had a stalwart, Mr. Dayton Roach. What was that combination like? How did that support work out?
Well, I'm going to correct it there a little bit. I stopped playing road tennis for 10 years. Venom actually bring me back out. He told me he would stop old men from playing. So I told him, all right, this old man is going to start playing and come back. I went in 12 tournaments since I came back. These are things you don't hear. I went finals 11. So 11 was when I come back, not before.
So then how was it having, even more experience on the bench with you tonight in Mr. Dayton Roach?
Roach was behind me from the time I was 7 years old. You understand? One time I was looking up at him. Now I have to look down at him. But he don't leave my side. We were friends a long time.
So now looking ahead to the semi-final, the old man, as they say, into the semis now, what can we expect from you?
Well, they said before, from the first round, they were saying Antonio looked too good. He playing the poorest out of the top men. So when I hear them saying that, I smile. I'm going right to the finals.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you there definitely in the semifinals for sure next week. Congratulations, Antonio.
Thank you again.
Guys, it's back to you.
Well, there you have it. The words of Antonio Lil Man Daniel. In the end, he says, hey, I am going to the final. What a night it has been. 4 exciting matches. Kim Holder, she took the first. Madeline Blunt, she took the second. Shaquem Nurse, the first men's match. And Antonio Daniel, the finals men's match of the night. Once again, we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, the BTMI, Digicel Barbados, Nation News, Valvoline, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, the National Sports Council, and the Barbados Road Tennis Association for ensuring that we could put on this fantastic production and this fantastic tournament for you. From all of us here at the Gymnasium, it has been a pleasure bringing these quarterfinals to you. And next up, the semifinals, October the 12th. We'll be back here at this very venue, so see you then.